The storm hit like a monster unleashed. Waves the size of mountains crashed over the deck. Wind howled like a hungry beast. Rain lashed down, stinging Elias's face like 1,000 needles. Elias, captain of the sea serpent, gripped the wheel. His knuckles were white, his face weathered and grim. This wasn't just a storm, it was pure fury. The sea serpent bucked and groaned, fighting for survival. The compass, his father's compass, spun wildly. It was useless, a useless trinket in the face of nature's wrath. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced Elias's heart. He'd sailed many storms, but never one like this. "Hold fast," Elias roared, his voice almost lost to the wind. "Secure the lines!" The crew, his loyal men, fought the storm's fury. They were battered, bruised, but unbroken. Not yet. A monstrous wave, larger than any before, slammed into the sea serpent. The ship lurched violently. Timber groaned. Men screamed. Elias saw with horror 3 of his crew swept overboard. "Man overboard," the first mate bellowed. Elias didn't hesitate. He threw the wheel to the first mate. "Hold her steady." He grabbed a rope, securing it to the railing. He dove into the raging sea. The water was a churning maelstrom. Elias surfaced, gasping for air, searching. Lightning flashed, illuminating the desperate scene. His men, too, clinging to a piece of driftwood, the third struggling to stay afloat. "Elias!" one cried out, his voice filled with terror. Elias fought against the waves, pulling himself along the rope, hand over hand. He reached the first 2, hauling them towards the ship. The third man was farther out, barely keeping his head above water. Elias swam, the storm seeming to mock his efforts. Another wave, towering and cruel, rose up between them. The wave crashed down. When the water cleared, the third crewman was gone. Elias, battered and heartbroken, was pulled back onto the sea serpent. The storm raged on. A deafening crack split the air. The mainmast, struck by lightning, splintered and fell. Elias watched in horror as the compass, his father's compass, was ripped from its place, spinning away into the storm. Then darkness swallowed him.
Elias coughed, salt water, sand in his mouth. He was alive. The storm, a monster of wind and wave, was gone. Sun warmed his face. He sat up, looked around. A beach, white sand, blue sky. Where was he? His ship, nowhere in sight. His head pounded. Memories swirled. The storm's fury, the creak of the ship, his desperate fight. Then, nothing. He'd been tossed overboard. How had he survived? He looked at his hands, scarred and strong but shaking. He was alive but lost. Alone. Or was he? "You are awake!" The voice, soft and melodic, came from behind. Elias turned. A woman stood there. Her skin shimmered like moonlight on water. Her eyes, bright blue, seemed to hold the secrets of the sea. Who are you?" Elias stammered, pushing himself up. He swayed, dizzy. The woman smiled. It wasn't a smile of amusement, but of kindness. "My name is Lyra," she said, "and you, Elias, are the one who was chosen." Chosen? Chosen for what? His head spun. He needed answers, but his tongue felt thick. He could only manage chosen. For what? Lyra raised a hand. In it, she held a compass, but not just any compass. This one glowed with an inner light, its needle spinning wildly. "The storm, Elias, it was no accident. You were meant to be here." She stepped closer. "You were meant to find this. Find what?" Elias could barely speak. His throat was dry, his body aching. Lyra's eyes held his. The Compass of Azura. It holds the power to guide lost souls, to mend what is broken, to restore balance. Balance? What did any of this mean? He was just a sailor, not a hero. Lyra's expression turned serious. "The compass is shattered, Elias, scattered across the seas. You are the only one who can find its pieces." She extended her hand. In her palm lay a shard of metal. It pulsed with the same blue light as the compass. "This is the first piece. It will guide you to the others." Elias stared at the shard, then back at Lyra. Doubt warred with a growing sense of purpose. Could he really do this? Lyra placed the shard in his hand. "Be careful, Elias. Many dangers await, but you are not alone. The compass will guide you, if you let it." Elias and Lyra ventured inland. No ship, no crew, just a compass and hope. The jungle pressed in, thick and humid. Vines snagged their feet. They hacked through with machetes, sweat stinging their eyes. Days blurred into nights. Each step was a battle against exhaustion. But they pushed on, driven by a shared destiny. They scaled treacherous cliffs, the rock crumbling beneath their fingers. Waterfalls roared in the distance, their spray a constant reminder of the island's power. Strange birds with shimmering plumage called out in warning. Lyra pointed to a glyph carved into a moss-covered stone, a symbol of Azura confirming they were on the right path. Azura, a whispered legend, an island shrouded in myth and magic, said to hold the key to nature's balance. The compass trembled in Elias's hand. It hummed with a faint energy, always pointing north toward the island's heart. It was more than just a navigational tool. It was a guide, a protector, a whisper of Azura's ancient power. Elias felt a connection to the compass, a growing awareness of its significance. It was as if the island itself was reaching out, calling him forward. He sensed the weight of responsibility settling upon his shoulders. The fate of Azura, and perhaps the entire world, rested on their quest. The jungle thinned. A vast clearing opened before them. Towering trees, their trunks thicker than houses, encircled a shimmering lake. The air vibrated with an unseen energy. Elias felt a chill, despite the humidity. Something wasn't right. The wind whispered through the leaves, carrying a strange melody. It was beautiful, haunting, and filled with a deep sadness. Elias's hand instinctively went to the compass. It spun wildly, its needle whipping back and forth. He exchanged a worried look with Lyra. They were close. He could feel it, but danger lurked nearby. A rustling in the undergrowth. Then figures emerged from the shadows, tall, hulking creatures with skin like bark. Their eyes glowed with an eerie yellow light. They moved with surprising speed, their hands morphing into claws. The creatures lunged. Elias pushed Lyra back, drawing his machete. The blade sang as it cleaved the air. The first creature roared in fury, its claws leaving deep furrows in the earth where Elias had stood a moment before. This was no ordinary encounter. This was a test, and Elias knew with chilling certainty it was only the beginning. Deep in the shadows of the jungle, destiny awaits those brave enough to seek it. The shard led them to the Temple of Shadows, its stone walls etched with symbols and secrets. The air reeked of decay, a silent warning of the dangers within. As they ventured deeper, Elias's dread grew. The shard turned colder, its light dimming. They reached a chamber glowing with an eerie green light. In the center, a figure cloaked in darkness held the Compass of Azura. "You're too late," it hissed. "The compass is mine, and soon the world will be as well." Lyra stepped forward, blade raised. "You cannot control its power. It will destroy you." A chilling laugh echoed. "We shall see." With a wave, the figure summoned twisted creatures, plunging the chamber into chaos. Lyra fought valiantly, but there were too many. Elias knew he had to act. Clutching the shard, he focused on the compass. The ancient power surged within him, and he called out. To his surprise, the compass responded, glowing brighter and brighter until the chamber was bathed in light. The figure screamed as the light consumed it, and the creatures turned to ash. When the light faded, the compass floated gently into Elias's hands, whole once more. Destiny had been altered, but their journey was far from over.
This is why you need a compass, especially one that can save the world. With the compass restored, Elias saved the world's balance. Lyra offered him a path to greatness in Azura. But Elias, a true sailor, chose the sea. Smiling, Lyra gifted him a new compass. "It will guide you true," she said. As Elias sailed away, peace filled his soul. The storm was behind him, and endless horizons awaited. Ready for whatever came next, his journey was far from over.